A family who disappeared was found trapped inside a secret room locked for 9 years. A new report from the Daily Mail has revealed more details about the case of a missing persons investigation that took a strange twist when the missing people were found dead in their home. For 9 years, nobody knew what had happened to them, but now we know exactly what happened to this family, and it's terrifying. On May 1st, 2013, 3 generations of a family vanished without a trace. They were Peter, 54, his wife, 53-year-old Linda, and their daughter, 26-year-old Helen. The last confirmed sighting of the family was at their home in the village of where they lived, in a house that was described as being in a secluded spot down a long driveway. It was an isolated home, and on the day they disappeared, neighbors reported seeing a removal van outside the property and some furniture being carried out of the house. This was odd because, according to the neighbors, Peter and Linda had lived there for over 25 years, and it didn't look like they were moving out after the family vanished. Their car was found abandoned at Birmingham Airport. Their phones and bank cards had been left behind, but their disappearance was officially reported to the police by a concerned friend after they failed to turn up to a pre-booked holiday in Spain. When the police searched the home, they found no signs of a break-in and nothing to suggest the family had been kidnapped. One officer even said that it was like they had all just stepped out for a bit and not come back. Because of this, the police took the very strange stance that the family may have simply chosen to go missing of their own accord, and they would turn up somewhere, some hot sunny destination, living off the grid and never be heard of again. Despite this, search teams scoured the countryside around the home and divers were sent in to search the nearby lake. But there was no sign of the missing family. The case went cold, and it seemed as if the family had vanished into thin air. 9 years passed with no answers. Then in February 2022, the homeowner, who had owned the house for many years, decided to sell up and move to be with her son before she did. However, she wanted one last look around the home, so she entered the attic. Here she found a small hatch in the floorboards covered with a rug. She looked through the hatch and saw a spiral staircase leading down into darkness. When she opened the hatch and descended the stairs, she found herself in a small, dark room. And when her eyes adjusted to the darkness, she saw something that made her scream in horror. In the room were the 3 bodies of Peter, Linda, and Helen. They had all been dead for some time, and their bodies were badly decomposed. An investigation then took place to try and figure out how the 3 had died and how they ended up in the secret room. Forensic teams were unable to find a cause of death, but it was clear that the room had been locked from the inside for some time. The room also appeared to have been used as a makeshift prison, containing bunk beds, a desk, chairs, and even toilets. It's believed that the family had been held captive in the room for several years before they died. But why? Who would do such a thing? And what was the motive? Well, tragically, it appears as though this was a case of a cult-like family member holding their loved ones hostage. Peter, Linda, and Helen were followers of a guru named who had been running a spiritual group called the Peter had actually written several books on the teachings of the guru, and it seems as though he had become obsessed with the idea of enlightenment through isolation and imprisonment. This was backed up by a neighbor who reported hearing voices coming from the house and seeing strange figures standing at the window. The neighbor even reported this to the police, but they took no action. After the hearing, the police eventually searched the home. They discovered that one of Peter's books was titled The Guru's Prison, and when they searched the computer, they found documents on creating soundproof rooms and files on surveillance equipment. It seems likely that Peter built the secret room in order to follow his guru's teachings, and that he imprisoned his own family members. He may have even starved them in an attempt to reach enlightenment, but this is just a theory. The truth is, we may never know what really happened in that house. What we do know is that a family who simply vanished 9 years ago were in fact trapped inside a secret room, locked up by one of their own.